Ladies and gentlemen, order in the court. Today's proceedings finds the people versus James McGill.
Legal troubles got you down? Bosses refusing to pay out? Hit and run leave you stunned? Drug lords in your future? Maybe not. Because he'll get your case dismissed. He'll get you the defense you deserve. But only if you say the words.
Oh no! I need legal representation. Whatever shall I do? What do I say? Oh, wait! I know!
Better Call
Better Call
Saul.
Saul! So, without further ado, let's begin judging Saul Gabble Gabble. Court is now in session.
You will atone.
All right, that's right, Dragon. We are here for season. Wait, why the fuck am I saying 4? Hold on.
Oh God, I just now realized. That's embarrassing.
No, it's okay. On the main thing, it's fine. I just need to alter the banner. Why is it 4x04? It's 6x04. My God, COVID has done a number on our sense of time.
Yeah, sure. Blame the invisible force. Yeah, sure.
I do. I blame that for everything right now. Anyways, so Hit and Run, Dragon. This is a very interesting episode. Of course, we'll get to the credits because it's directed by a very special guest director.
Yeah, this found her off on the street somewhere.
But Dragon, just my opinions on it. It's a really interesting episode because I feel like not only is this one of the more lighthearted episodes of the season, it might be one of the more lighthearted in like the past few seasons. And it is an interesting tone juxtaposition coming off of last week, which was like arguably one of the big I feel like last week's episode is going to be like one of the big tent poles of the Breaking Bad universe, just at large. So what do you think, Dragon? I mean, this is a big change of pace. I gotta say, the one nitpick I have, I'm going to throw this out there. Other people have been feeling it too. As much as I am enjoying the stuff with going around and trying to scam Howard, I am kind of getting to a point where it's like, all right, what's the end game with this? Come on, where are we going? Like, how many schemes are we going to see? So, Dragon, that's one little caveat I have. Other than that, I still think this episode is fairly solid. So, but obviously, I feel like it's just kind of like, it's one of those things where it's impossible to live up to last week, right? It's like, I don't know. Where are you coming down on it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I rather like this one. I do admit, it's kind of a calm. Basically, this is the writer on this is very well known for kind of the calm before the storm kind of transitional period episode. So that's brilliant.
I call it a chess piece episode.
Sure, fine, it's a chess piece episode. This is very much a chess piece episode, and I think it serves its role very well. Again, I think we get some really hilarious, kind of Saul Goodman shenanigans that were delightful. And that's I'm not bothered at all by kind of long con because that's the ambitious thing this season. This is the first time we're ever doing interconnected cons that are all building towards the same unilateral thing. The closest thing we've had to this before was in the first season where Jimmy's kind of stringing together new business. So that was like business in the first place. The whole hero con led to again, even that's not really much. I mean, you kind of had we brought the Kettlemans back, and that's as far as that went. So
no, I mean, you do have a good point because it is. It's certainly there are a lot of layers to it. Dragon, I'm just saying, it's like I feel like it's kind of starting to reach a point where it's getting a little bit repetitive in its execution.
I would argue, and you can disagree with me, of course, as you
okay,
to do, but I would argue that it would be that if we didn't get kind of a payoff at the end of each episode.
And I'm sure we will get a payoff for the whole thing, too.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately that. But I'm saying it's like I'm feeling satisfied with the mini cons along the way. And so that's why it doesn't really dawn on me that, like, oh, yeah, we're really just spending a lot of time. So it's like, you remember, okay, the only time I've ever had, and again, I was dead wrong with the payoff when it happened. Way back season 2 with Nailed and the episode before Nailed. where you had Mike's con with the with the hose, and I was like, man, we're just ending the episode on
Oh
Mike
yeah,
just kind of getting
totally,
that.
totally,
And
right,
I was
right.
saying,
And you
man,
were
I
dead
really
wrong
hope
about
this.
that. Yeah.
And of course, then the start next episode, Nailed. Of course, it starts with like the literal, okay, that's the payoff of the hose thing, and then we end on the significant thing with Chucks. It was like, oh my god, that was that was the only time. That was the last time I remember throwing my hands out there. Okay, I'll never question the show again. Never.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And it hasn't steered me wrong yet, so I don't. I'm gonna give
All
I'm
right.
gonna give leeway.
So, Dragon, let's shout out our special director.
Okay, so the director on this was was someone we've never heard of before. It was a little girl named Ray Seahorn.
To quote Jamon Hansu in Guardians of the Galaxy. What?
No, in all seriousness though, Ray Seahorn, I think she had directed some short stuff, but never had directed an episode, like a full episode. So this is her first directorial debut, really, like officially. So yeah. So this season's gonna be the first time we're gonna have actors turn directors for Better Call Saul, not counting Cranston, from Breaking Bad. So yeah, this is kind of a huge milestone. We're gonna have another special actor becoming director later on in this first half.
And you know what? I gotta say, I will give her a lot of credit because I think that she did infuse some style into this. Like, I distinctly noticed that this wasn't done by our usual crew.
Yeah, you got to remember. Like, these guys are fans of the show. Mind you, they're not up to date on everything, which they kind of want to go in with the surprise once it's all assembled and everything. But I mean, in between seasons, like, Ray Seahorn, like, they're doing research. Like, I don't know if you recall this, we talked about it, like either last season or season before. Apparently, most of the cast, at the very least three of our leads, between Odenkirk, Fabian, and Seahorn, they bunk at a house together, and they kind of they study lines and they prepare for like the months of shooting while they're in Albuquerque.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of builds to a lot of you really kind of live in the character, you understand it, and again that kind of leads to that's the person you want directing the show. The person's going to know the characters and the universe inside out, especially if they go back and they pick up on things. So I think it really lended to her style. So again, the marriage here we have is we got Ray Seahorn directing, we have Ann Cherkis or Circus. I think it's Cherkis. Anyway, so Ann, she had written.
That sounds like the female doppelganger of Andy Serkis's name.
I know, that's the thing. I want to say my instinct is to say Ann Serkis, and then Andy Serkis must have like a sister or something. Anyway, so or yes, it's the multiversal version of Andy Serkis.
Right. Oh God.
Anyway, so Ann Cherkis here. So she had written Off-Brand, Quite a Ride, and The Guy for This, which are all kind of like the transitional episodes. Quite a Ride probably being the exception, but Off-Brand being very much okay. Saul Goodman is born, and The Guy for This is when he becomes a friend. Like, hey, come on, you're the guy for this. He kind of becomes a friend of the cartel. So yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so yeah, Dragon, let's just dive right into it. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun one.
Okay, so here's something really stylistic. We have really
this right off the bat, Dragon. Right off the bat, it's funny because I forgot that Seahorn was directing the episode, and I was kind of like, "Oh, this is cool. Who directed this?" And then, of course, her name pops up in the credits. I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's right. Awesome."
It's kind of like the Andy Kaufman opening for me, in which it was like for a moment I legitimately bought like, wait a minute, did AMC run long on something? Like, did I? Like,
oh my god!
For a moment, no, it was good. I pick up. This has to be the show, but it has to be like a really they're really going for it this time.
I mean, it is a very cryptic cold open, Dragon. A very cryptic cold
I was really impressed with how cryptic it was. Like, man, they are really reeling you in on this. Impressive! Wow.
Dragon, at this point, I feel like basically after Dead Freight, pretty much set the stage where it's like, it doesn't matter how obscure it is. It doesn't matter how mundane it is. If you see something before the logo in that cold open, it is going to come back around.
Now, mind you, I caught on the moment I saw the house, all right? Because I knew what it was. Like, oh, okay.
Well, yeah, of course. When you see the house, it becomes pretty clear.
Like,
yeah.
Oh my god! Because I was like, we're in a suburban neighborhood for a moment.
But I mean, I like that. Even still, it's like we don't really like like is someone like I think the episode kind of like there's the twist on top of the twist, which I like.
Well, tell me if you had this, because I had with Dawn. Well, I was actually a little tense during this. Once I finally saw, okay, this has to be the episode. The AMC didn't run long, whatever they were showing before this. But after I was on board with that, I was thinking a big swell of tension hit me, Tiki, because oh god, the episode's called Hit and Run, and you'd imagine, okay, people on bikes riding through the street. And of course, we've seen.
Yes. I did have that. I did have that.
I'm thinking like Touch of Evil with I think it was Touch of Evil. The Orson Welles movie, where he has like there's the the bomb in the car. You're waiting for it to go off. What was that Hitchcock?
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because the hit and run thing, like it was kind of just like in the back of my mind, like, oh god, is something going to go terribly wrong?
Yeah, I mean, think about like the first episode of Better Call Saul. We hit the twins with the car, So it's entirely possible. It's never safe driving in the suburbs of Albuquerque. Anyway, so so we end on Gus Fring's house, which is like, oh boy, oh my god, it's Fring's house. We only go to Fring's house when it's a big deal.
Oh yeah.
Like we've been on the inside of Fring's house once in Better Call, so we never really.
And also, of course, we have just to kind of like talk about the scene itself. We have the upbeat do.
Yeah.
And then just like this married couple that's just like totally like set into like the mid stage of their life.
So these folks.
And they're bitching about the red on the house.
I love how snooty they were about the red.
Oh, they were
tomato red. Oh, poor neighbors. So these folks, their characters' names, I forget what the actors' names are, but the characters' names are the Rymans. Now the Rymans.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess it'd be hilarious if they were like just like poetry or something. It's all about rhyming.
Oh God! Wow.
Anyway, no, seriously, the Rhymes in real life married couple, so they're actually married couple in real life, so it's very authentic. So again, it's the fact that it's just so odd to me that Gus Fring, again, just the unsuspecting, it was so unsuspecting that apparently these guys must serve some sort of purpose. I'm assuming it's like a surveillance thing. That's why they're biking around, but they're just kind of hanging out in the house and they're filling some extra security measure of some kind.
Honestly, my whole theory on this situation, Dragon, is that Fring is just giving them an ass ton of cash to use their house.
Oh,
they're kind of going about their business. That's my theory.
That's a really good theory. I didn't think of that.
Yeah. I don't really think they have much to do with what Fring's actually doing. I think it's more just like, Fring's just like, okay, like I am going to literally pull up a dump truck full of money to use your house because I am that paranoid.
I mean, but that's the thing though. I mean, that'd be really exciting because they're seeing guys with guns just kind of walk through their house though. Because that's the thing. I saw like that guy with like the gun on his shoulder. It's like, wow. It's like these. Yeah. I don't know. My assumption was like it's the Albuquerque verse. Like a veterinarian is like is like an art. Is kind of a hired gun go-to, so anything could, we have all sorts of unusual.
I mean, I'm just saying, Dragon, the episode made a point out of showing just how mundane and petty these two people were.
Yeah, I don't know. That kind of
it's like I can't really see them actually being involved in Fring's operation on a deep level.
Well, honestly, I'm down for it either way. I mean, I think I like your thing better, but I mean, ultimately, if they are just like part of it's the fact that they're just like so they can be so mundane while working for Fring. That's kind of cool. I'll take either or. I like it. All right. So,
I mean, if they are working for Fring, then I guess they're kind of cut from the Gail Bedecker cloth.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Gail Bedecker, yeah.
But
they're not singing. But again, if they were singing, they'd probably be rappers.
All right.
So, okay, now this is again. I love that cold open, but I gotta tell you though, if the episode opened like this, I'd be happy as a clam. We have Happy Hamlin in this Jaguar.
Oh my
with
God,
the jazzy music playing. Oh, I love the jazzy music playing. It's like, oh,
okay. Can I just say, Dragon, I am not a car guy whatsoever. I think I've brought this up before, but I love Jaguars. Like, I think they are.
You never brought up that you like the Jaguar.
They are like the coolest car to me. Like if I were a fan of a car, I would be a fan of Jaguars. I don't know. A lot of it comes down to the hood ornament. I'm not going to lie. The hood ornament is fucking baller.
Yeah, you see all sorts of hood ornaments on cars, but I mean, I admit though, I completely forgot that the Jaguar had like literally the Jaguar.
It does. And I feel like that's, Dragon, I feel like that's what makes it. But I also think that, like, my dad did have one back in the day. And, I mean, just the way it rides, the leather interior. Oh, it's a good car. Anyways, I'm sorry. I don't want to Wow, that's like the one time I can actually geek out about cars.
Well, I see. For me, with cars, I'm a body guy. I don't know anything that's under the hood at all. But like horsepower, I appreciate like a good design and a frame of a car. Like so, in the Jag, basically, I think we're kind of bonding over the aesthetics of the vehicle. It's like,
I think so. Yeah.
Look at that protruding Jag.
And like I said, leather interior too. That's special. That's special. Anyways,
sure. Again, I've always loved Howard's license plate too. I love it's like the iconic symbol. Like Jimmy had his red door on the Suzuki Esteem, and Howard Hamlin has like the little Namaste license plate. Anywho, okay, which of course kind of foreshadows the lawyer up kind of vanity plate as well. So, anyway, so we have Happy Howard, kind of visiting his therapist. Now, okay, this is huge. Now, I want to say this up front. So, Ray Seahorn said something about how she directed the episode. So, basically, I think between her and the writer, they kind of happened on a theme for the episode. So, the signature on the episode here is that basically it's like uncovering like little personal kind of hidden secrets or like hidden details about these characters, each character, or like how they're feeling about something that is like kind of like something really unique for them we haven't really delved into before.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So with Howard, and this is the thing, now I remember I told you this like seasons ago, probably season 3. Yeah, it had to be season 3. So Patrick Fade in real life, he's married. I think he has kids too, married, and he never removed his wedding ring. So in the background they canonized that Howard Hamlin was married, but they never addressed it. Mm-hmm. So the first time we're ever mentioning. So again, here's our big reveal with Howard Hamlin. Oh God. He's married to a lady named Cheryl. Well, I assume he's talking. I mean, it could be his daughter. I think he's talking about Cheryl. That's a guess. But we know he's married and he has a home life, being the operative point here. He's having trouble relating to Cheryl, whoever that is, probably the wife. So yeah,
I like the line of like she doesn't want to talk about anything that's important. It's like we're deadlocked.
Exactly.
Like, that's a very realistic kind of like real world sort of relationship struggle where it's like it's not anything concrete. It's almost kind of like an ambiguous sort of struggle.
Yeah. So again, I've been dying for like the home life of Howard Hamlin. So all these little details, like ever since like Jimmy, like we saw Hamlin's house and we threw.
In my head canon, Hamlin Sr. is still fucking Robert Redford.
Well, I mean, if he's not around, we could always say yes.
I know. That's why it's my head canon. All right.
Anyway, that's going to be something, though, because remember, we did set up like one inkling of Howard Hamlin's backstory. I wonder because Howard Hamlin's going to have an important role this season. We know that much because he's been building it clearly. So I wonder if we're going to have like cold open that because we think what we had so far. We flash back to each of our characters' past, with the exception of I mean, I guess from we did Breaking Bad, so I wouldn't count him. With the exception of Howard Hamlin. And we kind of mentioned that, the whole hanging his own shingle thing. So if we're ever going to see Hamlin Sr., that would be the time to do it.
And we've got to get Robert Redford. Well, it just fits too perfectly. All right. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so meanwhile, another spray tan dude in a nice suit with a shitting grin on his face.
Here's my favorite thing about this. Again, this season, because it's the last season, they're calling back everything. And like it's the end game, literally the Avengers Endgame season for Better Call Saul. We bring back the suit from Hero, the big Hero Con with the billboard, which he made himself look like Howard Hamlin. So he still had this stuff. Because again, that was an expensive suit. He could just return it. So he still has the full-on Hamlin to go blue shirt and everything, or at least the knockoff the Hamlin to go blue. I
have a question though. This is stupid, but I know for a fact I am not the only one who thought this at first. So the scene transitions with Hamlin talking about his dream to a therapist, right?
Yeah.
And then we see the surreal image of like spray tan Jimmy in the Howard outfit. Dragon, did you think at first, was there any part of you that thought that was going to be part of his dream?
Not for a second.
Okay. At first I was like, wait a minute, is this some sort of thing of like, oh my God, I'm becoming Jimmy?
Well, Tiki, it's kind of a bylaw of the Albuquerque verse. At the very least, if they did, it would have been the very ever first time.
Oh, I know.
The Albuquerque verse does not do dream sequences. They've only had like one vague hallucination once ever. It was when Walt was in the trunk of the car before Tuco took him out, and he kind of saw Skylar saying, "I forgive you."
Oh God!
It's like the only time they ever did that.
All
right. So anyway, so point being, like walking down the street and again with that grin, he's like, "Oh God, the spray." To me, this is the priceless visual. Like, oh my God, I am. He's got the bad spray tan and everything. And I absolutely get what the con is. Okay, he's gonna frame Howard for something. That's why we needed the exact thing for the car. He's walking down with like the dangling kind of makeshift key fob and a traffic cone.
The cone, I love the ingenuity of it, and I love that it backfires.
You know, I just
Because
realized
it's one of those things where it's like, on paper, it's such a good idea, right?
yeah.
Like it marks where the spot is, so you can bring it back to the right spot. And also, it in theory would block someone from parking in that spot.
You know, I just realized something. We would have been perfectly safe had we gone with like a bright orange because of the traffic cone.
Yeah, whatever.
I know. I
still like the subtlety of the spray tan logo.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I completely forgot that. Oh man, we had a traffic cone. Anywho, yeah, I agree. I mean, of course, when I think traffic cones incorporated in the storytelling, I'm always thinking Toy Story 2. But yeah, I just love the whole. Yeah, it's like you respect the traffic cone. You don't knock it over and stuff. You don't do that.
Yeah, so this episode definitely does get into traffic cone etiquette, which I love.
It's a very Curb Your Enthusiasm element to
totally.
Oh my God. Just more kind of more tense.
You don't move a cone.
You don't move a cone. What are you thinking?
Did you know that Larry David had a cameo on fucking Hannah Montana at one point?
No, I know.
You did know that? My friend made me look it up yesterday. I was like, oh dear God. There he is. All right.
What I would have killed for, because they both did like cameos for their daughters in movies. It was really surprising to see them. And both Stan Lee and Larry David did cameos in not in the same movie. I would say he did the Anne Hathaway princess movie. Was it the Princess?
Princess Diaries.
Oh, it is Princess Diaries. Okay,
yeah.
So the second Princess Diaries, Stan Lee's in that.
Oh, nice.
Larry David's in Hannah Montana. So it would have been hilarious if at some point in time they could have crossed over.
Stan, Larry.
Yeah. Just like, so how's it going? Anyway,
I'm trying to think of like some nitpicky thing about the comic industry.
Larry I just like to think that Larry David's just not impressed with Stan Lee. That's what I like to think it is.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So, anyway, getting back to our story. So, yes. Jimmy unlocks the car. He basically, he saves the spot with the cone. He drives off, and then, oh boy. So, as Jimmy's driving off, Howard, Howard's going on about his dream and everything. Kim is preparing for a lunch. A lot of nervous energy. I like that in the direction you're seeing Kim with all brimming with the nervous energy, tapping her foot and like arranging the phone, make sure it's like within arm's reach. I live for the little details in the Albuquerque verse. Mm-hmm. She prepares for a lunch with the mountain of a man, Cliff Maine.
Yes. Oh my God.
Played by the great Ed Begley Jr.
Ed Begley Jr., man. This honestly might be one of my all-time favorite Cliff Maine appearances.
I never would have figured since season 2, like, oh man, I guess we're never going to see Cliff Maine again after season 2, and he keeps
he's become like a nice kind of like secondary lead almost.
Yeah, he's the nice guy Chuck. So, but yeah, so we get a lot of we have like kind of a secret of Cliff Maine revealed this episode here. So, secretly, anyway, sorry, I have the whole secret into the table thing. So we have this lovely bit of Cliff Maine backstory. I think we.
Oh my God! The whole thing of like, oh, my wife's taken up baking, and I'm really enjoying it. Oh, that was so cute. That was so.
Yep. I know, right? Allison doing the bacon.
Just the idea of him like, oh, honey, I love that you have a hobby that I can benefit from. And then she's just like, Cliff, try out my new recipes.
Doesn't it tell you how wonderful Ed Begley Jr. is? Just
all right, I just want a show that's just that.
I can't give you a show, but I can give you an element of a show. So Ed Begley Jr. he did this show for Patrick Stewart called Blunt Talk. It's the show where Patrick Stewart plays a news anchor. Anyway, there's a character, like a female character on the Walter Blunt's staff who has a husband who was Ed Begley Jr., who's a sweet as can be, but again, there's kind of an element of drama within our comedy here where I believe he's developed Alzheimer's, so he's kind of losing his mind.
Shit.
So yeah, it was like a thing where he kind of showing up, but again, there's like a deep love between the two of them. But again, she's a little unsatisfied at the moment with him, so it's kind of it's an interesting. Anyway, point being, Begley Jr. pays out like a slot machine always, every time. Anyway, so we get that, and later on we're gonna get the sun thing, which we'll dive into momentarily. So let's talk about the real star of this episode.
Dragon, I have a question for you, man. I have a question for you. All right.
All right. What do you got?
Who's peeking out from under a stairway, calling a name that's lighter than air? Who's bending down to give me a rainbow? Everyone knows it's Wendy.
Okay, yes, it is. It is indeed Wendy. The Wendy we like, not the dissatisfying.
No, not that
everyone knows it's Wendy.
No, yeah, this is definitively the Wendy that we like.
The one time we can actually get away with our Wendy reference, and it will make sense.
Right.
So Wendy's at a familiar motel here. In this case, I forget if it was the same. It's probably it'd be really too. I think it'd be too coincidental to the same stomping ground motel, but it's the Crossroads Motel, which is going to be very very cinematic later.
I mean, I fucking love that she's still going for the root beer.
Yes, the root beer was a really cute reference. That she needs.
That was a deep cut.
Yeah, so Wendy's obviously a lot of fun. Then, of course, Saul Goodman's in an utter rush. And again, she's like, "But I put 2 quarters in. I'll buy you a whole case of root beer. Let's get in the car." So, in general, though, so this episode we get at least two additional Albuquerque verse kind of cameos here. So just to mention that.
I mean, I really appreciate Wendy. Spooge is kind of like, I'll talk about Spooge. I feel like he was kind of like a little bit of member berry.
Well, I think he might have a payoff, Tiki, but we'll have to see.
Okay.
That's the thing. If he doesn't pay off, then I'll agree with you. But it's
like, hey, member Spooge.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I felt in the moment.
But even if it is a member berry, you need a few member berries in the cereal.
I swear to God, someone needs to make a member berry cereal, dude.
Let's give it to Funko. Funko would be prime. It would be the prime candidate for that. They've done cereal. Anyway, they're all about memories. So here's what I really like. I like that we're kind of building to ultimately, Walt and Jesse with how they factor in, basically with the
like they're building up Saul Goodman's usual clientele.
Basically, yeah, exactly. So ultimately, what kind of occurred to me in this episode with the Wendy thing is that it's kind of odd how it's turned out. Where in a way, Better Call Saul has built the world for Breaking Bad. So then Breaking Bad is ultimately like a spin-off of 2 new characters. So it's kind of funny how that works. We're ultimately that's like we're building the universe so Walt and Jesse can be affixing the world to these characters. So I don't know. I thought it made a lot.
No, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's like, again, like the Albuquerque versus.
Like there could be a universe where Breaking Bad was the spinoff.
Yeah. I mean, basically, it's like we're preparing everybody for Walt and Jesse's inclusion. So, all the little fixtures of their universe, like how Wendy factors in, how Gus Fring factors in, how Mike factors in. Like, everything has been teed up, and they're going to make the last cogs in the wheel, really.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if perhaps we're going to get, Skinny Pete just in there somewhere before them. But again,
we have one big chess piece to get to.
Yeah, because obviously Saul Goodman cannot meet Badger unless we cross over directly into that episode from a different perspective. But again, we'll have to see how that goes.
Well, I'm saying Bill Burr, man.
Well, I know that's the obvious.
The chessboard is not complete without Bill Burr.
Honestly, this is gonna be controversial. I'm gonna say this. I think we need Bill Burr more than we need Walter White. If I'm being honest,
I honestly do too. I honestly agree with that statement. I really do.
I mean, technically, they could use
clips. We know how, like, anything they do with Walter White is going to be kind of like icing on the cake, right?
Yeah.
Bill Burr is the cake.
Because I mean, honestly, if we're gonna be really full honest here, I mean, getting Walt and Jesse back is just gonna be okay. So it's gonna be the recontextualization of, like, it's gonna be a different perspective of the same events. It's like filling in like maybe a few extra blanks, but really minor blanks.
Right.
The most we could ever hope is it's gonna be like the ending of El Camino. It's gonna be, we're gonna have like a really special Walt and Jesse scene, like we ended there. It's like, okay, here's one scene that if you could have inserted in the Breaking Bad, it would have added to the whole.
Sure.
That's the most we could possibly expect from those 2 in our story. Anyway, so let's see. Anyway, so we pick up Wendy, put her in the car. A little rushy rush going on there. Saul Goodman, he waits for the signal from Kim's phone, and Wendy's kind of like, basically as our title image would show here, Wendy's kind of staring at his hair, like complimenting, I like your hair, but it's basically his fake hair.
I like how Saul, at first he's just like, it's not, thank you. Like, he doesn't feel like explaining it.
Yeah. So, tell me if you picked up on this at all. It might be crazy. I like to think what we're saying here, kind of the secret thing of this episode, potentially, maybe not a big secret or anything, but like an extra layer, is that we're showing yet again Saul Goodman's soul is still there, like before Jimmy McGill fully leaves him. I think just like there's some Jimmy McGill in this car, like, hey, you okay? You need anything? Like, you got the plan all right? Like, I don't think Saul Goodman fully realized. Will be like, you know what the plan is? All right, honey, don't screw it up.
Right, yeah.
So I think there's like some genuine care for the helpful prostitute.
I can see that. And I also think that Wendy also kind of obviously comes into play with Kim's story as well.
I love how that. Yeah, I love that angle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You remember how crazy it was? Some people had that stupid theory.
Yes. That's exactly what I thought when I saw her and Kim in the same car. I was like, ha! Conspiracy theorists, you were wrong.
And the fact that Ray Seahorn had to direct it to get there. It's like, see, we're in the same car. It's all good. Unless someone throws time travel in the mix, we're all good.
Multiverse Dragon.
Oh God. Anyway, so as Cliff, remember, like Cliff.
That's going to be the third Vince Gilligan Breaking Bad show, the Breaking Bad multiverse.
Going to have like 9 Cranstons.
Oh God.
To be fair, 9 Cranstons is never a bad thing, but still. All right. Anyway, so Cliff Main, he's enjoying it. Remember, he was really psyched for the latte. Here's the lattes are excellent there. So as Cliff Main's relishing his latte, Kim Wexler basically sells him, and she's selling him on the truth here. This is exactly what she is genuinely planning to do here. She wants to do pro bono work on a big level and get other lawyers to kind of sign up with her to do that. And Cliff Main, this strikes a chord with Cliff because we have here's our big reveal with Cliff. He had a son who battled.
Yes.
Okay,
yes,
so we have stuff to talk about
yeah.
here. Okay, so there's 2 big things I want to talk about with this.
Okay.
This is huge. Okay, one, it occurs to me, did Kim Wexler cruelly manipulate Cliff with his son Gregory's struggle with drugs? Because remember, she mentioned she heard about his struggles, his son's struggles with drugs, and she's the one who episodes ago brought up to Jimmy, maybe we get to Howard through Cliff. So off screen, we never heard the specifics of the whole drug thing being brought up, of how to necessarily bring HHM down. So we don't know who proposed that idea. I'm assuming, knowing that information, it was Kim. So that's kind of a horrific thing for Kim Wexler to do, potentially.
I mean, Dragon, I've been saying it from episode 1. I think this whole thing is pretty fucked up, honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
As much as Howard is kind of like a goofy villain who we want to see get his comeuppance, I mean, I think inherently this is a pretty fucked up thing that they are doing with a lot of morally bankrupt components to it.
I'm thinking smart money halfway point is still going to be is probably going to be Jimmy just making peace. Like we're gonna basically come to a head and like, okay, it's as perhaps we destroy Howard Hamlin one way or another, and then it's going to be the acceptance of, well, what do you do now? I'm going to go forward. So I think that's ultimately, it's going to be like the realization by 2 of them, or at least by Jimmy, seeing how Kim's turned into, and like, do I like it? Do I run? Do I stop? Or like, no, I'm going to go forward with it.
Yeah.
So second point. So she in the after the scene. So the idea, so Cliff is like he kind of, I think Cliff throws her off a little here when he says like, he genuinely respects what Kim's doing there, and he potentially would like to like back her on this play financially and everything. So the question I have is Kim Wexler taken aback with surprise, or is there guilt that is there over?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think it's a little of both.
Yeah, I think so. But now here's the thing: if it is both, do you think it's guilt that then assuades itself with, this works in our favor?
I feel like it working in her favor is what keeps the guilt at bay.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. Okay. All right. Let's see. So it seems the con goes off without. And I love this too. When Kim was like sitting down and everything, she positioned herself so we had like a clear view and everything. I love that. That's why she moved the chair around so much. So again, Ray Seahorn's directing.
And of course, this is also where we get the really compelling shot from the trailer of her high heels tapping.
No, all that, yeah. So anyway, so the con goes off without a hitch. She gave Jimmy the go signal, and he sped off and everything. Basically, the con is, and again, I love that all the pieces are coming together here. Like witness seemingly Howard Hamlin in
Oh my
Howard Hamlin's
god.
car, kicking a poor prostitute out of his car as she's you
I
owe
just love
me.
how poor freaking Cliff Main is just standing there like mouth like ajar, just like
Yep.
Howard?
Yep. Now, what's great about this too, and this is just again, we're bringing everything back in all the right ways. We Jimmy's prank on Howard last season was in front of Cliff Main and involved hookers.
Oh my
So this
god,
is
you're right.
right. You remember?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, no, Howard, those aren't my. No,
Okay,
Cliff, those aren't my
honestly, do you
hookers.
think that might be something that that comes back to haunt Jimmy as far as like maybe they connect the dots? Like, gee, let's see who likes to use hookers in their schemes.
Well, that's it. Okay, so here's the question. Okay, so Kim. Now, Kim's purpose here, the reason Kim has to be there is kind of twofold. Okay,
Is to
one, it's
legitimize it.
yeah, it's basically plausible deniability is the wrong word, but essentially she's insulating herself from like I was there with him, I was in shock as well. Now, here's the thing:
But
it's
I like how she doesn't confirm if she thinks it was Howard.
exactly. So again, insulating herself legally.
Mm-hmm.
Now, beyond that, though, it's also kind of like here's where it boils down here. So, if you remember chicanery, like you know you do, I know everyone does. Everyone loves chicanery.
Yeah, how could you forget?
My point. Okay, the one specific aspect of chicanery. So, as great as chicanery is, again, the big payoff of chicanery is that we basically made Chuck kind of cement the assertion that Jimmy made that I just said that stuff to make my crazy brother feel better, and he proved himself to be crazy. So that essentially exonerated Jimmy. Essentially, he took the slap on the wrist, mind you, but essentially, it was kind of like, I think if I recall, like officially, it's like okay, so he did do that, but he still did something wrong, and that means like even if Cliff were to put the pieces together, theoretically, if it were a Chuck situation in which Howard says, "Wait a minute, this is the hooker plan from everything else," in which it would be the same thing as like Jimmy switched the numbers and I can prove it because he confessed to it. It would be, well, no, that was Chuck going crazy and he ended up killing himself. So again, it would be kind of a similar situation where I can't just say this happened before. That's the thing. Did I lose? I lost you in the rabbit hole on that, didn't I?
I think you did. Yeah.
Okay. All
Sorry.
right. Sorry.
I tried to keep up.
No. My point is because of what happened with Chuck, perhaps they won't buy that it was another con because they were legally saying no, Chuck was wrong. Chuck was just crazy. That didn't happen.
Sure.
The question is, does Cliff know the truth, or would Cliff believe the truth that Howard Hamlin knows, or would it be like the legal record of like, oh no, that Jimmy never pull off something like this, and Kim would never be in on it with him like this. Just a question of how much he believes the transcripts. Anyway, moving on from that. But yes, so Kim's there, kind of cementing the con of like I was there too. She's a witness. Wendy's been tossed out of the car, and as I love is Howard again just completely just mouth agape. Cliff Main is here. I love like the guy saying, "Miss, are you okay? You owe me." Anyway, so seemingly goes off without a hitch. So Jimmy's on his way back, and I love this is hysterical, by the way, especially on the rewatch. Mirror the opening exactly, where they're playing the happy, jazzy music, and then the Jimmy turned off initially, and he was like just going there. We're mirroring the same driving shots with Howard, so it's like so trippy and multiversy, one could say. He's going down in the car, and then what does he find, Tiki? What's the hitch in our plan here?
They moved the cone. Who moves the cone?
What kind of a-hole moves a cone? Crap.
All right, so this is some genuine suspense, and it makes me think that the whole thing is going to come crashing down because of some shit like this.
I do love that it's like mundane suspense, though. I love that like we've had like Nacho like making the pill switch. And it's like, oh god. Here it's like it's literally a parking space, but it couldn't be more tense though. The whole season is predicated on if this con is going to go well. So just like, oh god, and it's like he's wrestling the sign out and he's pulling it out and like
it's one of those things where it's like that if Howard walks up on him, there's just no explanation.
It's like, Jimmy, what?
No good explanation for this at all.
Jimmy, you're trying to kill me and raise my family? What is this?
Right. Exactly.
Like, there's no explaining that. Yeah. Anywho, so point being, last second, the sign falls just right after he
I
leaves.
love the directing on that, man. Do you know if that was a hard shot to get by any chance?
Well, I know they had had to build I think they had to build some sort of special rig, digging it up to
Okay,
get exactly
okay.
like that.
Because the timing on it is impeccable.
Yeah, I'm going to assume bringing it down is probably the easy part, but I think lifting it out and planting it in that whole thing. I don't know if it's it's. I imagine I forget if there's a cut there. There has to be a cut, so that's probably how they're doing it. But with the timing and erasing the shot, I don't know. It was probably not. I don't think
I
it's the
mean,
hardest
just
shot.
no matter how they did it, I'm just saying the timing within the episode is just really well handled.
Yeah, I'd imagine the bunker shot was probably a really difficult shot of the episode, but it's impressive to say the least.
All right.
Okay, so let's see. So Kim and Wendy, they're at the Crossroads Motel.
Ooh,
Symbolism. Yeah. So Humanity of Kim Wexler play, which I really like this. Kim, I think it's going to be kind of a stretch here. I'm not saying her mother was this worse off, but remember, deep down, Kim Wexler's affinity for the law stems from...
I mean, we don't know. She could have been.
It's true. We don't know. That's the thing, and I like that we don't know. It's just the fact that, bottom line, however you want to say it, Kim Wexler, we cemented this with the Kettlemans 2 episodes ago, grew up, without means, and it really affected her, and that kind of her kind of sympathy for the little guy stemmed from there. So this seeing Wendy kind of down her luck like that, and she brings him up. There's 5-0, which again, really big help to Kim because she spots oh man, people are following me. Mm-hmm. And then Kim gives her a card hey, if you ever land in legal trouble, I'll help you out for free, pro bono. Really,
and that right there, it's kind of just the push and pull, the crossroads, if you will. It's it's almost like her drug.
Yep. Again, Kim has not hit that low point where it's oh God, she'll be irredeemable in the eyes of the law.
Totally.
It's still, there's again, this is why the show has gone on for six wonderful seasons, folks. It's just the fact that there's still some good left in them. That's just Vince Gilligan's head game of how can I trick these people until the last season? Okay, I'm just gonna keep on the line. Well, he's eating like a sandwich while he's thinking.
Of course he is.
Okay. How can hey Peter, how can I keep people on the line? Well, Vince, I guess what you should do is just show there's a little bit of good, and get people to kind of hope and hope against they're gonna be good. That's a good idea, Peter. I'm gonna put that in there. I'm gonna type that down for a finish the sandwich.
I feel by season 4 of Breaking Bad, Walt was pretty much he was pretty far gone at that point, right?
Yeah, but he was in very end, obviously, but he was in that position of you were kind of oh God, you don't want him to die because you have 3 seasons built in of rooting for him. You don't want to get killed against Spring, but then that ending is oh boy, we're making the transition. Yep. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so the aftermath, basically Kim loops Jimmy in on how things went and how Cliff, surprisingly, has some interest in in investing, which again could he probably will deliver. I mean, it's unclear, and again, I don't think ultimately he will deliver, but it's possible.
Well, even if he himself doesn't sign the check, he still has a lot of connections too.
Which was the big point of their conversation too.
Yeah,
the whole, he's connected, and he might. The idea is ordinarily she'd be put on a wait list, but Cliff might put her. Might just fast forward her through that process.
Right, so right.
Indication. So I'm really investing, so it's very likely it would happen. So All right, let's see. So, okay, then Kim brings up that she feels that she's been followed, and then we have the big. Basically, this is where a lot of our trailer stuff's in this episode.
It is, yeah.
The wicked flee when no man pursueth. It's a good line. Are we wicked? And of course, it's Jimmy's denial. Again, this fundamentally is kind of the arc of this half of the season. It seems the whole are they wicked? Are our heroes making ultimately yes they are.
I didn't was made clear in episode 1 and
I didn't say it was a hard question. I said it was a question. But I like that Kim's again, she's might be a little. I think Kim's more in denial than Jimmy is, it feels like.
I think so. Yeah. Well, you know what? I feel Kim kind of has the whole it kind of boils down to
balancing the scales.
Yeah, the scene with Huel last episode where it's oh, we're doing good, and Saul knows that's a load of bullshit, Kim maybe still can't see the forest from the trees and still thinks that there is like a silver lining here.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds right. All right, let's see. So, okay. So anyway, so let's see. So after that, Saul Goodman. Oh god, this scene broke my heart in all the right ways, mind you. It broke my heart. So Saul Goodman being frozen out at the courthouse.
Oh my god, yes, absolutely, Dragon, this is a really good kind of like 6 seasons in kind of
Yes.
scene.
Yeah, it is. I thought this
Because it
episode
kind of
really
takes like all the little like incidental bit characters and just pits them against our main guy.
Now, mind you, this is probably going to be true for most, if not all, the episodes of this season. But I was saying this episode, particularly being the chess piece transitional episode, again, all of that's really becoming apparent. It's like
No, I
it's
mean
kind
you're
of
not wrong, because this is a pretty pivotal like transition in Jimmy's life right here. Just
yeah.
Essentially we pretty much get confirmation that the bridges have been burned.
Because if you remember in Breaking Bad, he was not a well-liked lawyer when he walked through the the halls of MDC and everything. Like you remember, obviously Hank Schrader and the DEA, he always hated Saul Goodman because he's always getting the clients off. So again, this is kind of like this is the big moment where it's like, oh man, that's why he doesn't have any friends. You're wondering, man, where are all the friends that we've retroactively added in the Better Call Saul? Well, now we know why they're not.
Totally.
Erickson's giving him the stink eye in her office, but outside of that,
I think Oakley is the one that really hurts, though.
That it is. Okay, so honestly, I mean Oakley, yes. Oakley was just giving him the truth, though. The one that really hurts me, though, the clerk. Oh no, not the clerk with the stuffed animals. No. And he's doing like the little cutesy, the graduate penguin bribe. It's like,
oh my god!
You don't have any opposable thumbs.
The thing that hurt with Oakley, though, for me, is
no banter with the vending machine, right?
Yes. Like I feel like it's such a real world thing, Dragon. Like I feel like we've all been in this sort of situation where we're trying to start friendly banter and it is just not landing.
The magic's gone.
Yeah. And you're just like, oh, what is this?
Oakley had the great haunting line, though.
Yeah.
The whole there's proving and then there's knowing.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so basically, ultimately, Oakley is kind of our Mr. Exposition here, as we're wondering, like, hey, why is he going through all the security and everything? Why is the lady like putting that closed window is like the coldest move in the episode for him? Like, oh no! And although he got her a cookie bouquet, got her parts of a cookie bouquet and everything. I have never heard of a cookie bouquet before. Have you? You have?
No, I can't say I have. No, sorry.
All right. Anyway, so Oakley loops him in that basically they love Jimmy McGill, but they hate Saul Goodman because he's getting the cartel guys off and he's really like just kind of like spitting on the wall. They don't like it. So it's like, prove it, Oakley. Just prove it and there's knowing, and he leaves.
And it's like that is really kind of like a pathetic response from Saul because it's like he knows without a shadow of a doubt that Oakley is spot on.
Oh, of course, yeah. All right, so Kim, she's helping a hungry client, very literally, and I like that. She's like, "Oh no, eat up." The door. We're taking care of her clients. It's really nice. So she spots her tail, takes she's at, where she's at, which dining room she's at, right?
No, tell me. I'm sorry.
The El Camino. We're going to the El Camino a lot this season.
Right.
Yeah, they're at the El Camino dining room anyway. So she sneaks out. She chews out her pursuers here, and she's writing down the plates and saying, "Hey, you're not APD, so I'm feeling threatened. I'm gonna call it in." And they say, "Sorry to bother you." And they just drive off. So, oh boy, we're gonna see the payoff of that. A big moment's gonna happen. I like how we're building him up too, but he is not in the episode until that moment.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see. Okay, so poor Jimmy, he's alone at lunch, getting calls. Basically, he's being swamped with clients. They're all swarming at the nail salon. Mrs. Nguyen ain't going to be happy about that, and we go to the nail salon because they're all there to see the guy, Salamanca's guy. So what's your spooch? What's your spooch thing, Tiki?
Well, I mean, I don't have much of a thing. I just think it's like I said, it's pretty much just a member berry. It's like, maybe speech. Yeah, and honestly, I think that Breaking Bad is kind of better than that when it comes to like, just like, yeah, I remember.
Well, I mean, seeing what they did with Ira, I'm going to hope that they're going to have maybe a little bit of a payoff with Spooch. I don't need anything massive. It's like, okay, so we did pay off like what that case was or something.
I mean, I do think it's annoying that like he looks so different. Like I get that it's like a like he's gonna go down a journey, but like I don't know, maybe if we have a payoff to see how he becomes how he is in Breaking Bad, then I'll be okay with it. But like
that's the thing.
He almost looks too dapper, honestly.
Like that would be like a really good thing about that. I mean, I don't know if they want to give it like a 3-scene sort of thing, but even if it's 2 scenes, bare minimum, you have like we introduce Spooge here and then just seeing that guy pop up again after Walt and Jesse, or like after we enter the Breaking Bad era. I'm not saying we just do that episode again. I'm saying we check in with him before or around that point where the meth is on the streets and flowing because of Fring and everything. We're seeing like, oh God, the horrors that I've unleashed. I turned my client into a meth head.
I could see that. Yeah, sure.
Like something like that. Or remember, here's an real quick. Saul Goodman heard about the ATM thing, but we never saw him hear about it. So maybe that's your scene. Okay.
Also, I don't buy a guy that looks and dresses this dapper to still be named Spooge.
Well, remember he corrected him, so his name is Spooch, but Jimmy mistook him as Spooge.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah. So like he said, no, it's Spooch. So the idea is just his street name once he becomes like a druggie, and like the deal is just going to.
Okay, well that totally clears up that nitpick then. All right.
There you go. So of course, I love when we go to the nail salon because I love Mrs. Nguyen. She's so much fun, and just the fact that all these
I think
dangerous.
This is going to be the last time we see her, though.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
it is. Unfortunately, I mean, unless we're gonna probably check on the nail salon maybe one last time. Not a guarantee, mind you, because all this stuff in the office to move.
Yeah, like maybe we're just seeing a scene where he's packing up, and it's like Mrs. Nguyen, it's been real.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. I'm probably not because I'm pretty sure she's in Breaking Bad at the nail salon, but I could be wrong. She might have been an invention for the show. It's kind of hard to tell. I always assumed she was, but I always assumed she was like a carryover from Breaking Bad. Anyway. Regardless, so she, he invites him half like most of the clients away. Oh, there's just these tough customers in this nail salon. He says, or you can wait in here, for some spa treatment. It's a different price, but it's worth it. And he's making them always right. I love he's writing numbers down on their hands and giving them cucumber water. He's like, cucumber water for paying customers only. And she, just like, oh, they're gonna be paying. It's like puts that money in her hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So let's see. Okay, let's see. Moving forward here. Okay, big scene. Finally, after 6 seasons, not over the phone, finally happening. You're
going to hate me.
Oh, no.
I think the scene is good. All right? Don't get me wrong. I think it's good.
Well, it's not going to be the last scene between the two of them. It's just the big scene.
Obviously not. Dragon, I just think the payoff with who is following her is weak.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that led to like the surprise that, oh, it's Mike. That's how we're finally gonna have the first scene together. That's kind of nice. She caught on the mic. She outfoxed Mike.
I mean, I guess I don't know.
I don't know. I liked it. Well, regardless, the big thing Mike is showing up here to do is basically loop her in that Lalo isn't dead. Now, importantly, Kim does not tell Jimmy this information later, so that's big.
What?
Mike tells Kim that Lalo isn't dead, and Kim does not tell Jimmy that Lalo is alive. So Kim withholds information that she learns from Mike here. That's kind of the big takeaway.
Now, I was actually really hoping that Mike was going to go into now if someone shows up asking about Lalo, you just tell them it was Ignacio. Use those words.
Oh God, that's what
I was waiting for.
That's a fun idea.
I was waiting for.
We'll see. Well, that could still happen. I don't know. We'll see. That's interesting.
I am convinced that is going to come from Mike.
That's a good idea, Tiki.
I'm convinced of that. It's just a question of when.
Yeah, I never put that together. That's a really good observation.
Thank you.
Anyway, so you're on fire tonight, man. Outside of maybe kind of drifting out a few words, but you're really on fire tonight.
No, honestly, I'm just the thing with that is that I'm just my headphones are kind of fucking up, so it's literally hard to hear you.
Gotcha.
So that's the only reason why I'm not catching everything. I'm sorry.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Anyway, so I like that there's kind of, I'm not saying it's the same dynamic, but it's the fact that Mike has kind of a strong bond with with women, it seems, and which we've seen with Stacy. So I think I think deep down Mike sees a little bit of Stacy and Kim Wexler. I like the thing.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I think,
and he takes a liking to.
I just really like the line. I think you're made of stronger stuff, and I think that really defines the difference between Kim and Jimmy to a T.
Yeah, sterner stuff. It's kind of
sterner stuff. I'm sorry.
I don't know. It's he made Jonathan Banksy, which, by the way, folks, if you didn't know, we love Mike.
Yes, naturally.
Just to get in there. Yeah, so, and I love this. I love that the only crossover these two characters would have ever had, we brought up really nicely at the end here, that we put the button on the line, where after she puts together, you're the guy who saved Jimmy in the desert, and he realizes you're from the toll booth at the courthouse. You're the attendant. And like a pause goes by, and Banks brings it home. I was. And again, it's one of those lines that puts it in perspective how far things have come.
I really feel like it's a good kind of like full circle bookend kind of line for sure.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it, Tiki. In this first half, we've been giving everyone these little moments, these little check-in moments. We gave Huel his moment, we gave Mike his moment, and we're kind of getting there with everybody. I like it.
Yeah, and it is trippy just to think like, I mean, Mike was just a very simple man at the start of this.
Yep, I mean he killed two guys, but he was just a regular toll booth guy though. Yeah. All right, so we go to Gus Fring's house now. This I recall it's a oneer. Do you remember it being a oneer? Like once we start moving through.
I actually have the episode pulled up right here, so let me see. I'm pretty sure it is. Yeah.
Okay, so like when he starts going down to the. So the point is, Gus Fring, really nice house by the way, almost looks like two houses put together, which might be that neighbor thing. I don't know. He's waving to some neighbors that are passing by, but the moment he enters his home, the smile disappears.
Totally.
Door closes, So the idea here that Ray Seorn was getting across is that Gus Fring is ticked off, to bring work home with him, essentially. Is the fact that Gus Fring, who's never had to carry a gun in his life, has to be holstered and have a bulletproof vest on. He hates that.
So I think that this season, I mean, I feel like we pretty much already deduced this from other stuff, but this season is like definitively the most off his game we have ever seen Gus Fring.
I mean, one could argue this is Gus Fring's, like the Gus Fring side of Breaking Bad season 4. Like if he were in Walt's shoes in Breaking Bad season 4,
I can see that for sure.
Where he's on the ropes and at the mercy of kind of the cartel. Yeah. His own chess game, literally, yeah.
Sure. So, I mean, it's like he is just beyond paranoid at this point, Dragon. Like, he is basically living a waking nightmare of paranoia.
Because he knows, and I just love that Gus Fring with that handshake with Hector Selleck, he knows with every fiber of his being, Lalo is alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that he knows. Oh, he's not like doing that thing where it's like, oh, no, it can't possibly be alive. Every time we seemingly kill off a character, no, he's alive. So, anyways, then we have like the oneer where he's going through the bunker, which he goes to the basement, and then he opens up the secret path. Only Gus Fring is cool enough to have a secret passageway, like behind like some shelf.
Again, I feel like that's just like Fring money at work.
Yeah, it is. Oh, for sure. And that leads to like a neighboring house, which again, I'm gonna take. I
just love the idea that he goes to all these lengths just to have a house with security surveillance on his house.
If you're right, here's my theory. If you're right about the whole just him like paying the folks to use the other houses, that Gus Fring had bought and basically had paid for that house, and he owns that house, but to make sure no one suspicion doesn't arise, he rents that house, and basically with the arrangement that I'm going to use this house from time to time. You're going to see a lot of strange stuff. Just don't ask any questions, and you'll be paid. You'll be compensated for your servants. That's my theory. That's my piggyback theory. So, yes, any appointments that we go through there, we see all the monitors and everything, which again explains why Tyrus was in the know and Walter White was outside of his house. He has like the whole monitor thing and everything going on there. I like that the fact that the Rymans, they have like puzzles and board games to keep them company. They're very simple, folks.
Totally.
So
again, I feel like that whole element kind of leads credence to my theory, where they're just very average people that Gus is kind of like used as like a home base.
Yeah. Now, Tiki, second to Jimmy McGill is Howard Hamlin again, or Saul Goodman is Howard Hamlin, more accurately. I think the funniest thing in the episode for me, I don't know about you, was Gus Fring just getting super particular and just getting hung up
about the guy who's working at Polos.
About Roy.
Yes.
It's the fact that Gus is bothered over Roy, one of Mike basically.
I mean, Dragon, I feel like it is funny, but at the same time, if you think about it, it's a little bit terrifying. It's a little bit terrifying that his level of control and perfection like really does bleed all the way down to a very minute micro level.
Absolutely. I just love the fact that like Mike just brings the message. Well, look, he's got 2 years at McDonald's and he's a college degree, and also he's secretly one of our gunmen or like watchful eyes, what have you. So look, we can't.
He's not up to Polo standards.
I just love that. It's just like he's not up to it. I just love that Gus Fring amidst this terrible situation, he truly, because again, it's the symbol of the partner that he lost. He cares. The chicken. I like to think deep down it was the chicken business and then the meth business. The chicken came first, and that's why he cares. That's why he loves it. The chicken was the friendship. It was like probably how they met over.
Just one taste, and you will know.
I imagine what happened was, his partner, like again, made the chicken, and Gus came up with a business model to sell the chicken. That's how it started. Anyway, and then they had like a front to launder the cash. Anyway. Again, Vince Gilligan, please take notes and I know you're going to take a break and do other cool shows, but eventually make that Gus Fring show.
All right.
Anyway, so 2 weeks have gone by. We established no sign of Lalo. Guys on like 18-hour watches. They're really stretched thin. Like that Mike's pointed out, Gus, to this level of control and watchful eyes that we have, we are really stretching ourselves thin here. I think it's what Lalo wants, by the way. He wants him vulnerable, being stretched thin.
Sure.
I think that's Lalo's plan. Which the build-up to Lalo is terrifying, by the way. That all this build-up, like Lalo's alive.
He could literally pop up at any minute.
Oh, it's going to be so scary when he comes back. And
I mean, it's like the thing is, it's like I feel like we're all expecting him to pop up in the mid-season.
Yeah.
Like the mid-season finale. But Dragon, I'm honestly just knowing this show, I honestly think he's going to pop up before that, and it's going to be when we least expect him.
Quite possibly, yeah. I don't think he's going to be in the next one. So yeah, we're still building him up.
But I like that we got a taste of him right at the beginning of the season. Like just enough of a taste.
It's crazy, I swear to you, I didn't think about that. Yeah, we've only seen him in the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, we ended at the.
He was one of the center points of that first episode, though.
Yeah, and we ended the first episode with like he's gone, and we haven't seen him since.
Totally, yeah.
All right, okay, so then we have here's a big moment. Of course, we know romance in Better Call Saul is all about, as Lucy from the Peanuts would say, real estate. It's all about real estate. So Tiki, this is a big moment for me. I got really excited. I love the lighting.
Naturally, Dragon. I feel like this is a big tentpole moment for the whole series that we knew we were going to get to eventually. Because
I've been dying for.
I feel like this is one of those moments. Like there might be like maybe 5 or 6 moments in Better Call Saul, the series, that we knew we had to get, like basically a proverbial roadmap. If you will.
Honestly,
this was obviously one of the stops.
The simplest way of looking at it is like literally they're getting not the cold opens, but the opening credits. So like we're getting each part of the opening credits. We got the statue. We're gonna get the car.
Sure. Yeah, you're right.
We got the ties. Now all we need is the chi machine. Oh, Kim should give him the chi machine. or even better, Saul Goodman gives her the cheat machine, and if she ever leaves, then he'll have it as a reminder.
I can see that.
Anywho, but yeah, so I like the arc on the office that we built up ever since the first season. They had that Shangri-La perfect office in like a really nice building that she offered to her when he had the Kelman money. To again, like they had the dentist office, and now this is like the achievable rundown version of it, which again is speaking to what the content of their souls. This is what their souls deserve. It's the strip mall. Their souls have been stripped down to the bare medium of their dream, the bare minimum of their dream.
Dragon, isn't it surreal to see just how small it actually looks without any furnishings?
It's like one of those TV things where it's like every time you go on a game show or like a set, like it's smaller than it looks on
Totally,
TV. So it's
totally,
kind of like
yeah.
a reverse. It's kind of like the reverse of that. It's probably much bigger in real life.
Because it's like we as an audience, like we have a picture of the geography of this building, right? And
Yeah,
just seeing it like stripped down to its core essentials like that.
yeah.
And then, of
Those
course,
essentials.
Dragon, there is one, one key piece of symbolism that kind of comes back around from the cold open of this season.
The toilet.
The toilet, yes,
Yep, we had
yes.
the gold toilet.
So, what's your read on that? That Kim specifically mentioned, like, yeah, I like it as long as you keep the toilet.
Tiki, I'm gonna be completely honest with you here. I love that you mentioned that toilet bit because it never dawned on me that oh god, it's harking back to the gold toilet, and that's
No,
brilliant.
that's exactly what I thought of when because that was like, that was kind of like her way of kind of like solidifying the deal with him.
See, the toilet thing I read is just two very small, really like deeper cut things. Okay, I was like, oh, it's like the
Because
Chandler toilet.
obviously the point of that cold open in the first episode was to establish, like, oh God, like what happened to Kim? Where is Kim in this equation?
Yeah, and so it's kind
Yeah,
of nice.
I really think that was that was kind of like a flagpole being planted there with the
Yeah.
toilet thing.
See, I looked at it just very just surface level. Like, okay, everything's going down the toilet, so it's kind of the idea. So that's essentially the symbolism I got from. But I know I'm so glad you caught that though, because that's a really brilliant observation.
Thank you, thank you.
The other thing, so I mean, the deeper cut I kind of saw with it though was like, oh, it's the sex toilet, it's the Chandler sex toilet. Like, oh, Chandler, fill me up, yeah, that whole.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh
Chandler,
no!
you're
Oh
so
no! I
big.
forgot about that.
Chandler,
Oh
did you
fuck
have
me!
corn?
Oh no!
That whole thing. So, which again, remember that was like a romantic moment for them. They were kind of having fun over the sex toilet. So it's kind of
Oh,
funny.
oh.
So yeah, it's kind of like again, there's an arc even with the toilets in Better Call Saul.
I also cannot think about that scene without thinking of Chandler Bing.
I know, me too. By the way, the toilets that are not in Moonlight.
All right. Anyways,
So, but also the Jimmy Sullivan establishes that Mrs. Nguyen has kicked him out, or at least is about to kick him to the curb after the invasion of the scumbag clients. So yeah, just Saul Goodman settling on being on basically on. I love the way Bob Odenkirk plays this scene. The way he plays the scene is like he's not. It's kind of like how Kim played the scene a few episodes ago, where it's like it was the hardest day of my life, but it was the best day of my life ever.
yeah, no, I'm glad you mentioned that because I did kind of read the mirror image of that as well.
So it's kind of Saul Goodman basically like taking all the things that were thrown, like you lost all of Jimmy McGill's friends, and you lost like the symbol of like the humble lawyer that was Jimmy McGill with the nail salon, but you've gained like a revolving door of bad guy clients, and like who cares if those guys didn't like those guys are gonna like judge you, or Kim does not judge you, who needs him but Kim.
Totally.
So yeah, so I think he's basically again he's on that track of accepting. Saul Goodman's good, and again he's selling into the being a friend of the cartel, which again is like Bill is like he's on the dead freight, the Breaking Bad, one could say. All right, let's see. Okay, and because of the whole Lalo thing, so again he mentioned Lalo, and Kim did not tell him that Lalo was a lie. Big moment.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So again, the office basically again this thing is kind of tragic that what we're setting up here, that the office was a temporary solution. Like, it's not permanent. We'll use this for the time being. But I'm assuming the chaos that is to come, but whether it be Lalo or the scam with Hamlin breaking down, what have you, is going to lead to chaos that's going to make the office a permanent solution.
Sure.
Like, I wonder if at a point I'm thinking him losing Kim traps him in the strip mall.
I could see it.
Okay, so anyway, so Kim she approves. They go get some taco cabeza, and that's the episode.
All right.
Now, Tiki, we should make a call.
Okay, I'm ready.
505.
Okay.
842.
Okay.
5325. One last call, folks.
number is for day spa and nail customers and future customers only. Please, leave a message or call back when we are open. Do not leave a message if you need a lawyer, unless you want spa and nail services first. Thank you for choosing day spa and nail.
I'm gonna miss her so much.
Okay, hold on. I love the minutia in that of like, yeah, if you're calling about the lawyer, if you do the spa thing, fine, whatever. But don't call if you don't want to do the spa thing as well.
God bless Eileen Fogarty. Just God bless her. So the next episode's called Black and Blue, and it's Melissa Bernstein's coming back on that.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. I think she's only directed, I want to say, one episode of Better Call Saul before, so that's going to be kind of big if she's coming back. Anyway, so I think we're going to get just some speculation real quick, and we don't get a lot here. We're going back to the Super Lab. Cliff is confronting Howard over what he thinks he did last episode, and Francesca.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now they've been building up in the viral marketing like Howard Hamlin in a boxing ring, so I think that it's going to be Black and Blue. I think Howard's going to be upset after this meeting with Cliff, and he's going to beat up Jimmy. Yeah. Unless you got anything else to speculate on the final thoughts, what do you got, man?
Yeah, final thoughts. I mean, honestly, Dragon, talking through this episode again, I think I am warming up to it, just because you are right. There are some pretty pivotal, like spots on the roadmap to get to Saul Goodman that we have crossed through in this episode. I think I'm still just reeling from episode 3, and episode 3 basically being like one of the big, like, compare this to Ozymandias kind of episodes of Better Call Saul. Yeah, like in its own right, I still think this is great fun. Can't wait to see all the payoffs that they're building up to. And let's see what else. I think that's it.
Yeah, I mean, again, final thoughts for me. Pretty much just echoing the whole the transitional thing I've been saying through the whole time. It's been again our writer's forte has been that, and it really paid off here. Racy Orange, really brought the nice personal touches to this, and again, Howard Hamlin, Saul Goodman, just utterly priceless. So a good stage of our journey, of our last journey, but. Remember, kids, when you get that phone call, make it count. Better Call Saul. Saul Goodman Associates is the one-stop shop for all your legal needs.
And with that, we are adjourned.
We could totally be lawyers.
Totally.
Everyone knows it's windy.
Dun, 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 dun.